Clint Eastwood has never been a man prone to easy compliments. His public persona, built on controlled silence and a lean style both in acting and directing, leaves little room for expansive praise. And yet, beneath that rough exterior of a man from another era, there lies an artist deeply influenced by those who came before him. Eastwood, quietly, has always paid homage to the actors who helped shape his vision of cinema, morality, and masculinity. Among them, 4 hold a special place in his memory. 4 men who, each in their own way, left a lasting mark on how Eastwood understands and conveys the art of acting. In 4th place on his personal list is Steve McQueen, an actor he's often been compared to, although the two represented different types of silence. McQueen embodied controlled tension, an energy ready to erupt. Eastwood always admired not just his screen presence, but also the instinctive intelligence with which he handled screen time. He knew when to move and when to stay still, he once said, and that's half the battle. Steve McQueen was an actor who rarely seemed to be acting. Like Eastwood, he was a man of action, but not in the flashy sense of the word. He could communicate everything with a glance, a gesture, a lack of movement. Eastwood often emphasized how much McQueen understood the power of what's left unsaid, and how rare that was. The two never worked together, but perhaps that's precisely why they respected each other. 2 loners, each with their own idea of cinema, each fiercely protective of their independence. And if McQueen was the king of tension-filled silence, Eastwood was his most faithful disciple. In 3rd place comes Paul Newman, an actor stylistically distant from Eastwood, but who had a profound influence on him, especially in later years. Paul had that natural charm, Clint admitted, but he never took advantage of it. He chose difficult roles. He challenged himself. There's something to learn from that attitude. Newman was one of the few actors of his generation who constantly reinvented himself. In the 60s and 70s, he could have relied on his looks and charisma, but he chose to go further, to explore tormented, imperfect, vulnerable characters. This willingness to take risks, to not always please the audience, deeply impressed Eastwood. Looking at the second half of his career, it's clear he followed a similar path. Films like $1 Million Baby or Gran Torino show an actor and director unafraid to confront aging, death, failure. Newman taught him that one can be loved without always being likable, that one can be a star without sacrificing complexity. And Clint took that lesson to heart, choosing scripts that challenged even his own tough guy myth. Just like Newman, he learned to show fragility, humanity, and perhaps, in doing so, became even more powerful. In 2nd place, Eastwood names Gary Cooper, the icon of the classic Western, the silent man par excellence. But be careful, this is not a superficial affinity based on genre or type of roles. It's something deeper, more subtle. With one look, he said more than many say in a whole page of dialogue, Eastwood said about Cooper. There was a naturalness, a quiet confidence. I learned a lot from watching his films. Cooper represented an ideal of masculinity that Eastwood internalized and reshaped. In High Noon, Cooper's character is a lone man, crushed by the weight of conscience, determined to do the right thing even if it means standing alone. It's an archetype that often returns in Eastwood's characters, from High Plains Drifter to Unforgiven. Figures navigating moral landscapes where certainties have vanished and justice is never simple. But there's also a technical element Eastwood learned from Cooper, the art of underacting. Don't overdo it. Don't force it. Don't act more than necessary. Let the audience come to you. This approach became Eastwood's trademark, both in front of and behind the camera. No frills, no embellishments, just truth. Finally, in 1st place is James Kagny, the one and only. The actor who impressed Eastwood more than anyone else, to the point of openly stating, "I've never been a fan of any actor in particular, except for James Kagny." A clear, definitive statement. Not just a preference, but almost a declaration of loyalty. Kagny was the opposite of Eastwood in many ways. Where Clint is quiet and restrained, Kagny was explosive, fast, unpredictable. But it was precisely in that difference that admiration was born. Eastwood always saw in him an actor without fear. He wasn't afraid to be excessive. He didn't try to be liked. He dove into every scene, 100%. That boldness, that total commitment to the present moment, is what made a lasting impression. One scene in particular stuck in Eastwood's mind, the finale of White Heat, with Kagny on the gas tower shouting, "Made it, Ma! Top of the world!" just before the explosion. A mix of terror and tragedy, strength and fragility. "It was incredible," Clint said. "He was frightening, but at the same time, he made you feel sorry for him, and that's a rare combination." Kagny didn't just act, he transformed. He wasn't afraid to appear unpleasant, crazy, out of control. And yet, behind every grimace, every outburst, there was a deep understanding of the character. Eastwood learned from him that acting is, above all, instinct. That you have to trust what you feel in the moment without overbuilding. But Kagny's influence goes beyond technique. It's also a matter of ethics. Kagny always followed his own path. He left the studio system when it no longer gave him freedom. He turned down roles that didn't convince him. He ended his career when he decided to, not when Hollywood told him to. He didn't play by the rules, said Eastwood. He did things his way, and he was damn good at it. This independence is something Clint embraced throughout his career. He directed his own films, produced the projects he believed in, worked with small budgets just to keep control. He chose to always stay true to a personal vision, even when it meant going against the tide, just like Kagny. In directing, Eastwood uses the same approach. Few takes, natural lighting, minimal rehearsals. He gives actors space. Let the actor find it, he often says. Don't overthink it. It's Kagny's legacy, but also Cooper's and Newman's, a mosaic of influences that has crystallized into a unique method. A telling episode comes from the set of Mystic River. While Sean Penn was struggling to find the right tone for an emotional scene, Eastwood took him aside and simply said, "Don't act it, feel it." A sentence that sums up his entire artistic philosophy. Clint Eastwood may appear as a solitary man, but his art is the result of many voices. Voices of actors he watched as a young man, sitting in dark theaters. Voices that guided, inspired, and shaped him. And when he says James Kagny is his favorite actor of all time, it's not just a compliment. It's a confession, an act of devotion, the recognition of one hero by another. Because even tough guys sometimes need role models. And Clint Eastwood found his. Let me know in the comments if you expected these names, and what you think about the actors we've mentioned. Of course, let's pay tribute to the great Clint Eastwood. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more confessions from the world of Hollywood.